personal instead of focusing on ideas. It leads to self-destruction, and that is where they are today. Self-destruct is what they have done to themselves, and they are gone and gone for good. Never irredeemable. This time, it is not. Their intention was to self-destroy the agitation. That was their plan. But today, they have ended up in destroying themselves. That's what they did. And they can never rise again. Never, ever. Once Mazen they cannot put a stamp on you, you are gone and you're gone. You're not coming back. When disagreement becomes personal instead of focusing on ideas, it is nothing but self-destruction. That's what follows. When criticism becomes hostility, like one of their members, the woman with punk, he says somebody cannot criticize my son. Why somebody cannot criticize? What you are doing is not criticism. It is not criticism. You are hostile to Martin Nandekan. What you are saying is hostility. And when criticism becomes hostility, that is self-destruct. So many of them, you say you can't criticize Martin Nandekan. Oh, so somebody cannot criticize Martin Nandekan. What you are doing is not criticism. Constructive criticism is part of life. It's part of the whole success. It's part of the process. Not hostility. What we see that is coming from the FBOS today is hostility, not criticism. And when criticism becomes hostility, self-destruction follows. It's important we explain this so that people will understand. When cooperation gives way to competition, when cooperation gives way to competition, instead of cooperation, at the time that Mazen Nandekano needed them most, at the time that Biafra needed them most, they were busy competing with the supreme leader of IPOB, who gives order and who does not give order. They are challenging the order of Mazen Nandekano. That is one thing Mazen Nandekano never did. Mazen have always made himself clear. Even when he said he would not listen to Mazen Nandekano in prison, there was a caveat. He put a caveat that as long as Mazen Nandekano is in detention in that DSS, that is wired and monitored, that it is his own responsibility to free his leader. He still called him his leader. He only said specifically in terms of that very seat at home that even if it is Mazen Nandekano that said it, he can say it under duress. A man facing such huge challenge can say anything, but it's left for you that is supposed to defend him to do the right thing. Even go to extreme to see that you bring him out. Every time Mazen Nandekano, Simon Ekpa made that statement, he put a caveat. Because some of them today they will try to compare it with what that Mazen Nandekano continued to obey him and all this one. It was a lie. Mazen Nandekano cooperated with Mazen Nandekano at every level. He cooperated at every level. Every instruction that came to him from Mazen Nandekano, he obeyed. Every instruction he obeyed, except for the one that was meant to mount pressure on the Nigerian government to release Mazen Nandekano. And he made it clear. Pressure, on the continuous pressure until Mazen Nandekano is released. When cooperation gives way to competition, self-destruction comes. And that is what we saw with the Department of Sabotua. They left cooperation. There was no cooperation anymore. They were going on competition. And the same thing is also happening to Mazen Simon Ekpa. There are some people under Simon Ekpa, they are competing with him instead of cooperating with him. Today, there are people competing with Mazen Simon Ekpa instead of cooperation. They flouted his order. They left his structure. They do not obey him. They don't even listen to him. They do not reach out to him. They are busy positioning themselves, flagging themselves as the new Messiah, even when they have nothing to offer. Biafrans can see. People who are genuine can see. Those that are mentally sound. I'm not talking about those who have the group mentality. Those that have group mentality can never, ever see the difference. Those ones that have group mentality that can't think independently on their own, there is nothing you can do to revive them. They can never see the difference. But those that have independent mind, that can think independently, that can have critical thinking, they know that these people have nothing to offer. But yet, instead of cooperating with the man that has the template, they are competing with him. You are competing with your maker. The same way some idiots are competing with our supreme leader, Mazen Nandekam. Some are competing with Mazen Simon Ekpa. Even when they know they are nowhere close. Where does that lead? Self-destruction. Self-destruct. Whether you intentionally or unintentionally want to destroy Biafra, what is leading to is self-destruct. But I bet you at the end of the day, you are the one that's going to be destroyed, not Biafra agitation. Biafra agitation is indestructible. This pattern has been observed in many different organizations throughout history. It is not just with the Biafra agitation. In many, many organizations throughout history, these same templates have played out. Healthy organizations usually find way to manage disagreement while maintaining respect for one another and keeping sight for their shared objectives. This is what I have been crying for all my day in this agitation. More especially since my sister Maneba have been kidnapped. I have been advocating for, trying as much as possible to advocate for unity. That we should manage our disagreements, no matter what it is. It is give and take. Don't say it must be the way you said it. That no human being we accept must. Even your own child that he gave back to you, you can't tell him you must. Once you use it, you've lost that child. You've lost that child. It's a question of time. You lose that child. You don't force anybody to be. Chukwu that created us never forced us to do anything. He gave us that freedom. Every one of us have that freedom to express ourselves, to do things at our own time, at our own will. Even though he has the power, he has the authority to make you obey him by fire, by force. But he didn't. So how much more you that he created, you want to force your fellow mortal to do something by force? Even your slave, to understand the slave, the rebel. Even a slave rebel, to understand. So healthy organizations usually find way to manage disagreement while maintaining respect for one another. And this is where I want the HOD to pay attention. The new HOD, pay attention. You must pay attention to managing disagreement. Managing disagreement while maintaining respect for one another. It is not about who is superior. It is not about which group is superior and which group is not superior. Every one of us is important. We have a role to play. Just like the way Mazen Nandekan is handling issues. Look at Mazen Nandekan working with AFI, working with ambassadors of self-determination, working with the Rising Sun. Without any antagonism, without any feeling superiority, without working with them closely. We expect to see the same way being used to manage disagreements by the new HOD. And I believe that Chukwu Okikabia will give him that wisdom to put us back to where we belong. And IPOB, that is where all of us belong. That is our foundation. You can have your own machine group. I explained it time and time again. Like those ones they deceive and tell you that IPOB is just an organization. They belittle IPOB to be just an organization. That is a word from an idiot, a word from a scammer, a word from a Confucianist. When anybody comes to say that, it is a word for those who are scared, who for one reason or the other think they cannot be relevant. If we go back to where we are, IPOB is not just an organization, it is our family. That's what it is. Don't belittle it to just an organization. It is our family where every one of us belong. It is our family. You can be in your mushroom group. You can be in any group you are. You can be anywhere. But our collective interest should be one. Wherever you belong, let the interest be the restoration of Biafra. And I want you to ask those that will come and confuse you and tell you IPOB is just an organization. Ask them, please, can you give me your own registration? Show me your own registration. Are you registered as a nation, a country, or what? That is the question you ask them. When they come to preach and say, oh, IPOB is just an organization, don't support them. Why do you have to go back to an organization? Ask them, please, bring the registration of your own mushroom group. Let me see. If you bring your own organization and I see it registered as a country or a nation, only then. If you don't see me join you next time, don't listen to me. But today, they use that language to deceive some people. They will tell you, oh, IPOB is just an organization. You don't have to be, because they are afraid. Once you realize your origin where you are, they cannot confuse you anymore. They cannot be taking away your rights. They cannot be stealing from you anymore. You will begin to see them for whom they are. You begin to find their fault. You see their fault before your own eyes. You begin to see the reality. They will tell you, IPOB. Today, IPOB is the only name that has gone into a parliament in the whole world. Only name that's been discussing Biafran restoration in a parliament today is IPOB, led by our beloved sister Rachel. Our sister Rachel in Israel parliament in Knesset. The name that is making wave in the parliament that we have seen lawmakers in the in Israel signing signatures for Biafra discussion. Only in Israel. And it is IPOB. It is the name IPOB, no other name. That is where that is our foundation. So when somebody begins to belittle it and tell you he's an idiot, anybody that says that is an idiot. Because when they say it, oh, IPOB is an organization, they just want to belittle it to make you walk. IPOB is our family. At the same time, Manase Nnamdi Kanu did not tell you to close all the groups. No. Focus on the unity of purpose. Every time Manase Nnamdi Kanu send message, he will say IPOB. He will mention Avid, mention Rising Sun, mention Ambassador of Self-Development, and you say all other groups, we are one. He extends greetings to everybody. He didn't tell you to fold your own and anything you know you can do to bring Biafra, do it. But let it be not be out of envy, jealousy, greed, personal gratification. Because if you do, out of greed, envy, and jealousy, it now becomes self-destruct. That is our message today. Healthy organization usually find way to manage disagreement while maintaining respect for one another and keeping sight of their shared objectives. We, the Biafran, we have shared objectives. Every one of us. What is our objectives? Self-determination. Total independence for the people of Biafra. That is what every one of us is looking for. In all the mushroom group we are forming, in all the groups, it is all about self-determination. Self-determination. Don't ever forget that. Wherever you go and you see that it is about pursuing position, you see that it's about exalting one person or the other. You see it's about personal ambition. Run for your life and look for somewhere where Biafra is pursued. The second issue that we discuss is self-gratification. Self-gratification. Leadership experts often distinguish between leadership that prioritizes personal status and leadership that prioritizes service. Did you understand that? Leadership experts often distinguish between leadership that prioritizes personal status, leadership that what they care is about themselves, like what you see in this Department of Support today. The one that called Michinas and World, the one that is called Chikedozi. What they prioritize, and all the Chihuahuas that you see them when they talk, they will say, "Oh, Chikedozi is their leader." Oh, Chikedozi, announcing prioritizing personal status. They are always prioritizing personal. Oh, on the Chikedozi, oh, on the Chikedozi, oh, on the Chikedozi, everything. They prioritize personal status. The same thing, there are some people under my system, whatever. Before they talk with you, they will put a name on top. Before they call, they put a name. They will put a name, this one. They will put this name. They are prioritizing personal status. You see them everywhere. This is something that Mazen Nankan did not do. Mazen Tamarika didn't do it. Mazen Tamarika, even when people were pushing him to take over and become the leader, he said, no, the supreme leader of IPOB, Mazen Nankan, is my leader. Mazen Tamarika said it over and over. Instead, he took the position of a disciple. He took the position, he brought himself low, took the position of a disciple. The prime minister he took was a position to make sure that the Biafran government is run appropriately. It is not for gratification. It is not, he was not prioritizing his personal status. No. It was needed at that time to run the Biafran government. That's why he took prime minister. Prime minister was not, wasn't a title to gratify himself or to make himself different from others. No. Because he has taken the lowest of the lowest position. Followership. Disciple, that is what he addressed himself as. And every time he repeats, Mazen Nankan is my leader. Mazen Nankan is my leader. He didn't say the secret. So when you have leadership, those ones who are in leadership now, in all those mushroom groups you are seeing right, left, and center, and when you see them, they prioritize personal status. They always advertise themselves. And they push some chihuahuas to begin to advertise them. They push some bunch of chihuahuas who doesn't even know their right and left. Who doesn't even know what organization means, what the priority of the organization is. They push them to begin to advertise them. And some of them will come to my platform. They want to educate me on what to say and what not to say. Some bunch of clowns who doesn't know their right, left, and center. Sometimes they come to my platform to educate me on what to say. And they want me to mention some names that don't want mentioning. Even when I have explained it, I said the only name that is in my mouth that can be mentioned and promoted in this platform today is our supreme leader, Mazen Nankan and Mazen. They are the one that have won my heart. Not because somebody told me to talk about it. Not because they told me to do so. I am doing so because of what I have seen. The impact of their leadership in my own life. That is why I put them forward at every given point in time. And I will not stop. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But some of you, you are focusing on leadership. People who go to leader, who prioritize personal status. Than prioritizing service. They don't even prioritize service. They are supposed to prioritize service. You are supposed to promote leadership that prioritize service. They are your servants. Those who have offered themselves as servants. Service. Just like Mazen Nankan. Mazen Nankan, since all his life I've known him, he's on service, serving Biafra. Going in and outside of prison. Running together, preaching twice a day. 3 times a day, 4 times a day. The same thing Master Simon ever. Today he's in prison. Why he was outside? You saw attack from him, traveling from here and there, moving here and there. Broadcasting 3 times, 4 times every day, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. Holding meetings, stay down, no sleep. It was all about service. It was all about service. You will see their service with your own mind. I don't need to tell you, I don't need to dictate you, I don't need to put you, they don't need to tell you. You will see it with your own service. Leadership experts distinguish between leadership that prioritize personal status and leadership that prioritize service. Many respected leaders have emphasized that leadership is fundamental about responsibility rather than privilege. Leadership is about responsibility rather than privilege. That's what leadership is about. But some of us take it as a privilege. Leadership is fundamentally about responsibility. Responsibility. It is not just to carry that title, I'm a leader. It's not just to go and sit and cover people. You block everybody, command and control. No. It is about responsibility. You see how Mazin Nando Kukan is carrying responsibility for Biafra for the past 10 years, more than 10 years, in and out of detention. And he never hands up. Today, he has never surrendered. That's the man some idiot will tell you that he has sold out. And some people are listening to them. This is a man, they are telling you that he sold out. For the past more than 10 years, facing the court section and detentions of Nigeria. Look at Master Simon Eber. He lost his career completely in Finland, abandoned his political career. He removed his hand from political career. He kept it aside. He folded it and kept it aside and focused on Biafra. He lost everything. Master Simon Eber lost everything. The only life he had was Biafra. And yet, he didn't surrender when they took him. Up to today, to speak, he is still pursuing the Biafra. He never hands up. His responsibility, taking responsibility. Master Simon Eber surrendered his opportunities in Finland. The position of Master Simon Eber, he can become the president of Finland tomorrow. He has served as a councillor. He has served as a councillor. He's in a winning party. He can run for the highest office in Finland tomorrow, but he abandoned it. He removed himself completely from their politics and focused on the Biafra agitation. Responsibility. He carried the responsibility on his shoulder, no matter how heavy it is. That is what leadership is. It is not a privilege. It is not just a privilege. No, it's not a privilege. It's not about the title. But what we see today is this bunch of clowns and idiots attacking Martin and they can attacking Martin, causing confusion and accusation. They think it's a privilege. This perspective encourages leaders to ask questions such as, are decisions serving the mission? For those who are claiming to be leaders, this one is a message for leaders, including our HOD, our new HOD. The message is to him also. And these are questions that you will be asking why you are leading, why you are there. Are decisions serving the mission? That is the question that the people that are in leadership are supposed to ask themselves before you do anything, before you take a decision. You ask yourself, are decisions serving the mission? The decision you are taking, that decision you are making, that decision you are about to make, is it serving the mission? This is a question you need to ask yourself. Everyone that is leading in this struggle, both the new appointed and those who are claiming to lead, are your decisions serving the mission? Are they benefiting the people, the organization? you are supposed to serve. Those decisions, what you are doing, what you are saying, are they benefiting the people the organization exists to serve?